So yeah, I was telling you that this optical receiver should not be hidden. You cannot put your hand like this. You cannot cover it. If you cover this, this will not fire along with it. So you have to keep it exposed. Only then it will act in the slave mode. All right. So let us try and do one more thing now. So right now you can see that this is on S1 mode or the slave mode, and it is on half power. So I'm going to be keeping this flash over here for all of us to see. Now what I'm planning to do is I'm going to put this also on, and I'm going to be putting this flash also on S1 mode. So you can see there's the slave mode over here also. So let me fire two flashes together and show you that your inbuilt flash is capable of quite a lot of amazing things as well. All right. I'm going to rotate this slightly. Yeah, so it's easy for us to see what's going on. So I have two speed lights right now with me, and both of them are on slave mode. All right, so I'm going to be firing my master, and I'm hoping that both the flashes should fire this time. So let us see if both of them are firing. Right, so 1, 2 and 3. Yeah, both of them are firing. 1, 2 and 3. Yeah. Oh, it's pretty heavy. In order to confirm that for you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking a picture of the Typhodon so that you can appreciate that it's actually firing. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be keeping one flash on this side. Let me reduce the flash power a bit so it's a little easy on my patient. So I put one flash like this, and I'm going to be putting another flash also. It is on very less power. Alright, I'm going to increase the power slightly, but right now I'll put it off. I've put it off, and I'm going to keep it like this. So one of them is on, the other one is not on. So only one flash is going to fire. Okay, let us see if it fires or not. Also, what I'm going to do is in order to reduce the impact of this, I'm going to be covering it with my hand. Let me show you the effect of both, one with the cover and one without the cover. Okay, so my first shot, I'm not going to cover it with my hand. Alexa, stop. So my first picture, I'll not cover it with my hand. Let's see. This flash is not going to fire. Okay. So that is my first shot. So in this shot, what I've done is, you can see it's really bright over here. It's really bright over here. Alright. And I had not covered this with my hand. So now I'm going to take the same shot with a hand cover like this. Okay. So, but the light will still fall on it and it's still going to fire. Don't worry about that. So I'm going to take the same shot. And you can appreciate that because of my hand, my inbuilt flash did not interfere with the looks of the image. So this one is with my hand, this one is without my hand on the flash, so it's open. And in the second shot, I have covered this with my hand like this. So the light was just enough for that one to get triggered, this one to get triggered. Okay, so this is how the looks will be. Amazing, isn't it? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this guy also on. So I'll just put this one on, and it is already on less power and S1, so it's already on slave mode, and I'm going to be keeping it like this. So now what is going to happen is both of these guys are going to fire. Alright, so let us see how it looks, and I'm going to be covering this with my hand. So let us see the result. See. So in this situation, you can easily see that both the side lights are firing, and it looks quite cool. but both these lights are on that direction, so there is hardly any light coming in the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the angle slightly and bring it in front of my patient so that this part does not look dark. So this light is going to fall in this region, this light is going to fall in this region, and there will be no darkness. First I got some amount of darkness in my picture. See, you can appreciate, first it was like this. That is because these two lights were kept like this before, so there was no light coming and falling on the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get both the lights at 45 degrees like this in front of my patient. Alright, again what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with my hand and see what is the result. So let me go ahead and take a shot. Yeah, let us see the result. Amazing what speed lights can do. See that? So what I'm trying to tell you is, if you have two speed lights, you can use them as twin flashes, but they are not going to be consistent. In the sense, you need to have standardization in your pictures. That's the most important thing for us as a dentist. In the sense of your pre-operative picture, all your operative pictures and your post-operative picture, they should look the same. But if you try to use this speed light as a twin flash, which I have for more than 3 years, the lighting in the case keeps on changing for every shot, because we don't keep it at the right angle and the right distance. Even if the distance changes, one side will become differently exposed as compared to the other side. I would probably want to show you that. So what we'll do now is we'll keep one flash very close to the patient and one flash far from the patient. Can you tell me what is going to happen in that situation? Alright, or probably what we can do is we can put a diffuser in one of those flashes. Okay, what interesting I can do is I'm going to put this off. And I'm going to fire this with the help of my trigger, and I'm going to put it on. Okay, so only one of these have a radio receiver. The Yongnuo has a radio receiver. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set Yongnuo on wireless receiver mode, which is this one. Okay, so it is on wireless receiver mode at half a power. Alright, so this is going to fire with my trigger. However, this does not have a radio trigger, but who cares? It is on slave mode. You can see it is on slave mode. So it is going to fire with this guy. So nothing to worry. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a diffuser on this guy. Okay, but that will be the second shot. Right now what I want to show you is I will keep this guy a little closer and keep this guy a little farther away from the patient and show you the difference between the have any difference in the picture. This guy is going to fire with my radio trigger, and this guy is going to fire because that guy is firing. So let us go ahead. Let me check if it is in sync. If I get a blue light, it is in sync, which I have got. So let us see what is going to happen next. Yeah, so I expect that this side would be brighter and this side should be darker. Okay, so let us see what is happening. Yeah, exactly what we had expected. So this is nice and bright. However, this is a little darker, and we don't have an inbuilt flash. We have a trigger. Okay, let me put this off and take a shot and show you what happens if there's only one flash. So this is what happened if this guy was put off. This guy was put off right now. Okay, so this is the first shot. So this guy, this guy, this guy who was close to my patient, he fired very heavily, and there is less light over here because this guy was farther away. Okay, but both of them were in the same power. In the second shot, you can appreciate I had put this guy off. This was off, so only that guy fired. So you can appreciate it's completely dark on the other side. Can you see that? However, in the first shot there was some light on the other side. I hope it's pretty clear now. Yeah, now what I'm going to show you is I'm going to put this guy on and I'm going to increase the power slightly. Okay, I'm still not on full power, but I'm going to be placing a diffuser on this so that it gives out very smooth light. Okay, diffuser means a softbox. So this is the softbox that I'm planning to use right now. Alright, so let me put the softbox for all of you live so that you can see that it's not difficult at all to put a softbox. Okay, so
yeah, till that time, I'll be really happy if you all can start a watch party. I saw that my numbers have gone down because my live video somehow failed. I'd really appreciate if you guys can start a watch party. We had around 400 people in our previous video, but right now we have only 200. That's probably because there are no watch parties going on right now. So I have already put my speed light inside this softbox. Alright, and I'm going to be putting this Velcro on it. So my first Velcro is in place, and now my second Velcro is also in place. And I'm ready to use this back. But however, one white cloth is missing because if you remember we had put this on the ring flash. So let me put this back. It's really easy. It has Velcro everywhere, so really simple to use. Yeah, sure.
okay, so this is my setup. Now my trigger is on. This guy is on wireless receiver mode, and this guy is on slave mode, and it has a softbox. But remember, what I have anticipated is this guy is on half power. I'll just reduce the power slightly. So this guy is on 1/4 power. This guy is on quite a lot of power because he has a lot of obstructions to take care of, means these white color cloth. So there are two white color cloth inside this. They are going to act as diffusers. So I need more power of this light in comparison to that light. Alright. So let me take a picture with this and show it to you. Okay. So I'll just take a picture. Yeah. Alright, so this guy is still more powerful. The guy with the softbox is, without the softbox, still more powerful. So I need to reduce the power of that even more, or what I can do is increase the power of this guy. So I'm going to increase the power of this guy to maximum. So it's on full power now. Yeah, it is on full power, and I'm going to reduce the power of this guy to say 1/8. Okay, so let us see what is going to happen now. Yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, looks really nice now. I've got a very smooth effect because of the softbox. See that? So this side is without the softbox and this side is with the softbox. How do you know that where the softbox was? You can see the reflections. See the reflections over here. They are very small and sharp. Very small and sharp. See this line angle, very small and sharp. See this line angle, very small and sharp. However, if you have a softbox on this side, see what has happened. The reflections have become very big, very large. See, the reflections on the line angle is also very thick but very smooth. See, this reflection is very thick and very smooth. The reflections are very thick and very smooth. So that's how we differentiate between both the sides. This side the reflection is sharp and bright. Here the reflections are broader and smoother. Here the reflections are narrower and sharper. So this is the one with the softbox. This is the one without the softbox. These are called catch lights. These are called catch lights. Please remember this term, catch lights. Okay. So what will happen? Now tell me what will happen if I want to use this only. In the sense, I want to use the softbox only. So if I put this off, what kind of picture will I get? Can somebody tell me? So I want to use this guy only with the softbox. I have a radio transmitter on me. So what will the image look like? Can you tell me? So I put this guy off. I have put this guy off. I hope you remember this guy, Yongnuo guy. I have put this guy off. Only this guy is on, and my radio transmitter is on, and this guy is on, and this guy is on full power. Can you tell me what the image will look like? Anyone? This is my second question for the day. This is my second question for the day. Anyone who can answer what's going to happen? Quick. What will the image look like? Just tell me what is going to be the image that's going to look like. Just tell me how the image will look. That's it. Waiting for answers. Darker right side. Okay. One side will be dark. Okay. Darker pick. Okay. Okay. So most of the people are saying half side will be dark and half side will be bright. Let us see what happens. I know what's going to happen. I know some people have answered it correctly. I'll just check it if it is working or not. It is working. So I'll just keep it like this. So half of the people are going to be right and half of the people are going to be wrong. Amol, thank you for hosting a watch party. I sincerely request others to start a watch party. Let me go ahead and take a shot. So I'm going to be taking a shot, and this is what my image is going to be like. Yeah. So this is what the image is. Isn't it brilliant? What happened? And tell me why this happened. A lot of you have answered it correctly already. I know Sudarshan answered it correctly. I know others answered it correctly. So this was my second question of the day, guys. Yeah. So what happened in this situation was, a couple of you applied their brains because they were quite mentally present, but others kind of lost it. Okay, so you need to remember that what did I have on my camera? I had a radio transmitter. Okay, my radio transmitter was transmitting radio signals, but there was only one flash out of these two which has a radio receiver, and it was this one, the Yongnuo guy. Okay, but I had put it off. So guys, there was no radio receiver. So although my camera did send a radio signal through this trigger, there was no one to receive it. And guys, you remember, right? This flash does not have a radio receiver. It was firing because this guy was firing, because this guy had a radio receiver, but I put this guy off. So now this guy was not receiving any radio signals.
Starting a question answer session.
Okay, so this guy could not receive any radio signals. Alexa, stop!
Question answer session.
So what happened was, this guy did not fire at the first place. Okay, so the entire image was fully black. No flash fired. And congratulations to all of you who said nothing is going to be firing. No flash fire. I saw Sudarshan answered it correctly. And there were a couple of people who answered it correctly. But this was to be anticipated. This was to be expected that no flash was going to fire. So if you want to use a radio receiver, you have to have a flash which has, if you want to fire with a radio trigger, you have to have a flash which has a radio receiver, and you have to put it on. What if you don't have any flashes with a radio receiver? You get to buy radio receivers separately. So what you can do is, you can buy a small gadget called as a radio receiver. You can put it on this, and it will act as a radio receiver. So it can convert this flash into a radio receiver too. It can convert this non-radio receiver flash to a radio receiver flash, but it becomes cumbersome. Like, first that radio receiver gadget will be there, and then this flash will be there on top of it. It kind of becomes a little not so comfortable to use. I'm not really happy with that system. Alright, same thing happens with, if you remember, I told you there are two kinds of studio lights. and I like Elinchrome, and I don't like Godox so much. The reason why I have that decision is because Elinchrome, in the Elinchrome system that you buy of studio lights, both the lights have a radio receiver. However, in Godox you get one USB kind of a thing that goes inside only one of the flashes. So only one flash acts as a radio receiver and the other one has to be set on slave. This is quite annoying for me, very honestly. I don't like that system. Alright, so I'm hopeful that you understood anything and everything about this flash. There is one more thing that you need to learn about this flash. I would probably want to show it to you. Okay, so we have something called as zoom also in this. Okay, I'll show it to you. Yeah, you can see there's an option called zoom. Okay, so you can go right away from 24 mm, 28, 35 all the way to 105 mm. So can somebody tell me what happens in this situation? I'll show it to you what's going on over here. Okay, see what is happening inside the flash. Also you can see some movements happening, so the zoom is constantly changing. See that inside that, you saw what happened? See what is happening inside my flash? I don't know if you can appreciate, but I can appreciate. Can you see what is happening? Yeah, see now. Okay, whoa, did you see that? So what is the meaning of zoom? Can anybody tell me what is the use of zoom in a flash? Anyone? What is the use of zoom in a flash? Anyone? I would probably want to start my presentation to explain this for you all. I have a slide for you. Okay, let me show you something interesting.
You can also add a description in the text box above. Maybe something like, come join.
See, how to start a watch party.
Click on the group you'd like to host a watch party in.
It's there on YouTube. Maybe you should have a look at how to start a watch party.
Click watch party.
You have to go to share and start a watch party. Alright? So let me go ahead and show you something nice. Look at this. Look at this carefully now. Okay? Okay. If you are at a wider angle, for example, your zoom is 24 mm, so it's more angle is more wide. You can see like this. See, so the flash is going to disperse out very widely. However, if you switch over to say 105 like this, see 105 mm, the flash will be much more concentrated, much more focused. So even this really matters. If the flash is much more concentrated, you will get like a focused light than a light which is more spreading. In that case, the light will scatter more. So if you are doing glamour shots, then I would actually want to keep it wide so the light actually scatters. But if you want to have a concentrated spot of light, even that is possible with these speed lights. So that is one cool feature that most of the people don't use, but it is quite possible in this situation. Alright, there is one more thing that I wanted to show you all. There is a multi-burst also in this flash. So it is not there in all the flashes, but Yongnuo has it. You can see that I have put it on multi, and so it's going to fire multiple times in one go. So if you put it on multi, it's going to fire multiple times in one go. You can set it at whatever hertz you want it on. So this is also possible. If you just press the shutter release button once, that is also possible. So yeah, I'm setting the hertz and stuff right now. Yeah, so you can see if I press the pilot button, it can fire multiple times. You just have to set 5x into the hertz. Okay, it fires multiple times. So even that is possible with this flash. So speed lights are pretty cool to use, and with that we move on to the next flash, that is a twin flash system. All right. Yeah. So twin flash is also quite simple to use. Almost all the features are the same, like ring flash. So this is the twin flash that I use. This is Canon's MT24EX. This is the speed light that I like to use, and we are going to mount it on this guy, this beast today. So attaching is the same. The first thing that you need to be doing is putting the commander. You just slide it in and lock it, and you'll be taking both the speed lights. So instead of two lateral buttons, you have one central button. So you just have to press it and put it inside the flash. So this is what twin flash would look like. Pretty cool. Okay. The features are almost the same as ring flash. So let us discuss the features, in the sense the buttons of twin flash. Yeah, you can see here, I believe. Let me rotate it upwards slightly for you. Yeah, let's put it on. Yeah, so this is the same button to put the light on or off. You can see there are two modes, manual mode and ETTL mode. ETTL means electronic through the lens, or automatic mode, but we never use it on automatic mode. If you want to use it on manual mode, you can control the flash power on your own, but in Canon you have to press the select button once and then it starts blinking, and then you can reduce or increase the power. So it's 1/8, 1/16, 1/32, 1/64, and that's the last. If you want to increase, just press the plus button, 1/4, 1/2, and 1/1. So this is the full power of this flash, right? So yeah, let's just keep it at half power of flash. Okay. Similar to the Yongnuo flash, even this one has a lamp, which I never use. Okay. So you can see my pilot button is not active right now. That means my flash is not ready. It just went active right now, so now it is ready to use. If you want to put the lamp on, you can put the lamp on, and there is a continuous light source on my twin flash. You can see it's pretty weak as compared to the Yongnuo one. It's practically useless actually, so I'll just put it off. Yeah, it is off now. Yeah, so we have finished this one, we have finished this one, we have finished these two also, we have finished the lamp, and we have the ratio buttons also. Alright, and there's the on off button. Channel button is in the case you want to have a lot of slaves. In that case you will use the channel button. But if you want to play with the ratio of these two flashes, you can use the ratio, and we've already finished explaining about it. But I have some problem in my Canon flash actually, in the sense I don't know how the ratio changes on its own. So you can see my ratio of A is half power and B is 1/1 power. I really don't know why this keeps on happening. So I'm going to be keeping my B also to, so A is on, I'll just put it at 1/4 power, and I'll put my B also on 1/4 power. Yeah, 1/4 power. So my A is also 1/4 now, and B, A and B both are 1/4, if you can appreciate now. But I don't know, there's some problem. One of them always fires a little bit more powerful than the other one. I really don't know why. No matter what I do, I still cannot understand why that happens. So I'm at M 1/4. So both the flashes left and right are going to fire at 1/4 of a power. So obviously the advantage of a twin flash is this, which I did not show you before, which I would like to show it now. So you can press these two buttons and get it down like this. You can press these two buttons and get it down like this. So you can move these flashes however you want. This is the advantage of a twin flash. Not only that, but this also rotates outwards and inwards. This can rotate outwards and inwards, which is pretty cool. Not only that, you can rotate it like a roller coaster also, like this, which is pretty amazing. See, which is pretty cool. So the advantage of twin flash is this stuff. Oops, my commander just came off. So you can keep the flash heads however you like and use them, but if you want to get a great result, they have to be consistent. For that, you have markers on it. You can see these markers, so you can align it with how you like them. See, right now I'm aligning with this broad line, so you have markers to keep them symmetrical. Yeah, so now they are symmetrical, almost symmetrical. So if you want to take a MIP shot, this is how I keep my flash. Okay, so the light goes more into the buccal corridor area. Okay, but if you want to take an anterior aesthetic shot, you can keep your flashes like this and pointing inwards like this. Okay, but there is a catch in this. Okay, I would want to show you what is the catch. So today I spoke to two people who are already AACD accredited members. One of them is the Honorable Dr. Prashant Hatkar, the respected King of Composite Dr. Prashant Hatkar, and I spoke to Dr. Sayasha Mistry as well. Because I had a doubt, I wanted to ask them if photos cannot be rotated also for AACD accreditation. So they were of the opinion that if you don't crop them, you can still rotate them. So another of my friends, Dr. Vinuta Manjunath, she's trying for AACD accreditation. However, her mentor has said that you cannot even rotate images. Why this is important for me is because my twin flash heads are arranged according to that. I do my anterior aesthetic cases at around 11 o'clock or sometimes even 12 o'clock position. So that is where I sit and that is where I record from. Alright, so what I'm telling basically is if this guy is my patient, see over here, I'm working on this guy like this. So it's upside down, and I record my pictures also like this. Okay, so it is said that you have to come at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock and take the pictures. So the pictures have to be like this. However, I have taken all my pictures like this. But today I spoke to Dr. Prashant and Dr. Sayasha. They said that you can take the pictures like this also, and you can rotate it 180 degrees and send it to them. That should not be a problem. But I think Dr. Vinuta said that that is also not allowed. So there is a bit of confusion whether this is allowed or not. Okay, so you need to consult your mentor for AACD accreditation and then decide. Why I'm saying this right now is because recording the line angles nicely is really very important for us in anterior aesthetics. I'll just put the AC off because it's slightly too cold for me. Okay, so if you want to record the line angles, there is one specific way of doing it, and that is this. The lights have to go from the cervical to the incisal direction, so that the reflections are in the cervical third or the middle third. We don't want any heavy reflections in the incisal third. Okay, so what I'm saying is, if you are at 12 o'clock position, you should not shoot like this. I hope you can appreciate that. Why? Because if you shoot like this, the light is going from the incisal to the cervical direction. So you'll get a lot of hot spots, in the sense a lot of heavy reflections on the incisal third. Let me take a picture and show it to all of you all so that you can understand it better. So I'm all set to take a picture with my twin flash. This is my patient, and I'm going to be doing a live view so that all of you all can see. I'm using a full frame camera, so it's very heavy, so I'm going to be starting to shiver now. Yeah, I am shivering, but it's fine. Yeah. It's too bright for anything to be appreciated, so I'm going to reduce the power to 1/16. That's because these are Typhodon teeth. They are too opaque and too white. Let me reduce the flash. Let me take another shot. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. See, so this was my first shot, and this is my second shot. However, you can appreciate that reflections have come on the incisal third. You can see there are a lot of reflection in the incisal edges. Now this is one place where I'm going to be playing with my translucency, and the excellence of my work largely depends upon these areas. So I don't want these reflections coming in this area. I probably want to show these pictures on the tablet. Might be a little better for you all to see, I think. I believe this is much better. Okay, so what I am saying is my reflections are coming in the incisal area. This is what I'm talking about. These reflections should not be here. These reflections should not be here. So how do I get my reflections down? Very simply, I can get it down by getting the flash downwards. So what I'm going to do is, so this was my original flash position. So my light was going incisor-cervically. So I'm going to get them down. Okay. So this is how it will look like. So since I'm at 12 o'clock position, now this is how my flash is going to be, incisor-cervically. I don't know how else to show you guys, but this is how it will be, incisor-cervically. Okay, first it was like this, right? First it was like this, and my patient is like this. I work like this, so my light is going from the incisal to the cervical, and now I'm going down like this, cervico-incisal. Okay, so let us see if it makes a difference in the way the picture is looking. Yeah, one funny thing happened actually. One of my speed lights that was on slave mode was also firing. I should have checked for it before. So let me go ahead and take the shot. You all can see it live over here. I'll go on live view and take the shot for you all. Yeah, I hope you all can see what I'm seeing. Yeah. So as soon as I get a little bit of sharpness, I'll go ahead and take the shot. Yeah, so let us see how the image looks like. Yeah, now see where my line angles have come. Can you appreciate the difference between the two pictures? See that? I'll show you the previous image. See, first my reflection was incisally. Now my reflection is in the cervical. This is where we want our reflections to be. There's so much of a difference between the two. In fact, if you can appreciate, no texture on the surface is seen over here. However, in this image, because the light is nice, you can see we have surface textures also captured very well. In the sense, there are areas of surface textures, concavities on the labial surface also. Can you appreciate that? Yeah, so the biggest advantage of twin flash is that you can play a lot with the direction of the flashes. Okay, you can also remove them like this and you can use it as an off-camera flash, just like you did it in the ring flash situation. You also have wireless twin flashes, like Mickey is a wireless twin flash. I've used it a lot. It's a great flash, but Yongnuo is a wired one. Mickey is a wireless one. So I've used both of them. Yongnuo, I did not like it at all because of one simple reason. If I want to keep on rotating this like this, it does not happen in Yongnuo. This whole thing will rotate like this, like this. So what I had to do is I had to keep my entire system, and then I had to press this and get it like this, which is very annoying for me as a dentist. I like to probably change this with one hand without this moving. So in Yongnuo that is not possible. So it's very, very, very annoying. So that is why I stopped using them. Alright, so what all we have seen today, we've seen inbuilt flash diffusion, ring flash, off camera ring flash, twin flash, and speed lights, off camera speed lights, optical slaves, and radio receiving slaves. There's also one more cool thing that I want to leave you off with. That is how to use gelatin paper to get some creative shots. Colors. Okay. So what I'm going to be using for this thing is, I want to use my speed lights for this. So I'm going to be covering one speed light with a blue color stuff. So let me put this on slave mode and let me cover it with a blue color light. So little messy, but it should not stop me from getting a good picture. It should not be a problem. So my light is ready and it's working as well, and it is on full power. Okay, and I'll probably cover this guy with red color light, and I'm going to be putting it on wireless mode, and I'm going to be covering it with a red color gelatin paper like this. Yeah, and it's all set to be used. So this is okay for creativity. Don't try all this when you're documenting your cases. It's totally not needed. Let me go ahead and show you how it looks. I think one of them did not fire because my optical got blocked. Yeah, this one did not fire. I could see that. Maybe because it's covered in some way. Let me check. It's still not firing. I don't know why. Although it should fire. Maybe because light is not falling at all. Now it fired. I don't know what. Maybe this was covering or something or the other happened. Maybe cover it again with a blue color light. I'm hoping that it should fire now. Basically this light has to fall on this. So I'm hoping. Let us hope it fires now. Yeah, it did fire. Probably want to show it to all of you all. So you can get some cool effects like this for tabletop photography. Looks pretty neat. See that? Blue and red color together. Yeah. Also, you can use it with prosthesis like this. Yeah. Yeah. Let's Okay. So let us see if it's going to fire as a slave with this guy. I'm going to be putting this one on, and I'm going to be covering this with my red color here. And see if it's firing. Let us hope it fires. I'm not really sure if it will fire or not. I'm just trying it. So this guy is on slave, and I'm going to fire that guy with my twin flash. That other red paper became a little messy, so I don't want to use it. Open boy. I need a smaller one actually. It's too big for me to use it. I'm just gonna tear it and use. Alright. So everything is set, hopefully, and I should be getting result now. All set. I'll be using this now. Check. I took the same shot, but this one with an MPE 65. This was the premolar shot. So you can use color gel for a lot of cool things. Maybe I'll show it to you over here. This will look better. Yeah, that is what the image looks like. I don't know why it's look. Yeah. Okay. And the last thing that I wanted to show you all is about the studio lights. Right, so let me go to my presentation. Yeah, so I don't have a studio light on me right now, but this is what it looks like. Okay, with the lights off so you can see. So you can buy any studio light, but the ones that I like is Elinchrom. This is what you get online. Elinchrom FRX 400. This is the studio light per se. This is the light and this is the trigger. These two buttons are going to control the flash power. So when you press the down button, it will reduce the flash power. When you press the up button, it will increase the flash power. This is for the modeling light. This is not important for us. The I means slave mode. So you can put this light on slave mode as well. This is about the music. Whenever it's ready, it'll give you a beep. And this is the pilot button. If you press this, it's going to fire. So these are all not the important buttons. But this is going for slave. If this is slightly important, other things are not so important. If you want to increase or decrease the flash power, you have to do it with this, or you can do it with a trigger directly. So this trigger goes onto your camera, and you have the minus plus buttons. If you press minus, it'll go from 4.0 to 3.9, 3.8, 3.7, stuff like that. And if you press the plus button, it'll go from 4.0 to 4.1, 4.2, 5.0, stuff like that. So this is what a typical studio light looks like with the trigger. So whenever you get the kit, the softbox is completely collapsed, right? You get 4 rods with it, and you can put the studio lights on the light stand like this. So those studio lights will go into the light stand. Right now I have put a flash on it, but this is the light stand that you get for free along with that. So this is what the attachment will look like. Below the studio light, means you can see this over here. This part will go on the light stand over here, inside this. Okay, so studio light can go inside a light stand like this. This is called as a light stand. this one. But in my clinic I don't have a lot of floor space, so what I have done is I have these rails on the ceiling and I have a pantograph. So it is inverted on my pantograph, so my studio light is inverted upside down and it is mounted on a rail. When we set the entire studio light, it looks something like this, and if we get the pantograph down, it will look like this. So my light is ready on the pantograph over here. So different stages of using studio light on the rail or the pantograph. So you can also mount it on the light stand. Like I said, this was in Green Park Dental. This is the Dr. Ankur Agarwal. So you get two lights, two soft boxes, two light stands, and what Dr. Ankur is holding over here is called as a reflector. This you have to buy separately if you want to use it, but this is the basic setup. Elinchrom are the best lights. You can go for any FRX 200 or FRX 400, both are good.
And this is me giving a lecture on it. I don't have studio lights on me today, so I requested my students to send a video on its use. So you can do a lot of stuff with the studio light. It's mounted on the light stand also.
Alright, so I don't have studio lights for all of you all to show, and I'm sorry for that. But we've pretty much covered everything about the flash, and if you have any questions for me, I'd be really happy to take them now. Where to prefer speedlight over twin flash? Tabletop is a good option, and if you don't want to buy studio lights, then if you want to do anterior aesthetic cases in studio lights, you can use speed lights instead of studio lights. It occupies less space, but it's more messy. I feel speed lights are less consistent because they are pretty small. I would obviously prefer studio lights over speed lights if I want to do an anterior aesthetic case. Twin flash is used if you want to go for accreditation, and studio lights if you want to go for publicity. We had already covered this in the first live session. Liji, camera setting, how to charge the button, how to change the buttons on the camera for F, ISO and others. Okay, that is a little too tough to discuss at this point of time, because I don't know what you're using, Canon or Nikon, stuff like that. Unless I know how do I answer that. Liji, this one is usually for shutter speed. Then see over here. Okay, I'll show you how it's done. So you can see when I rotate this, my shutter speed is changing. You have to keep it at 1/200. There is an AV button. You have to press and hold this AV button, and then press and hold it with your thumb and rotate the main dial. Your F number will change, and if you want to change ISO, you have a button called ISO over here. Just press it once and you can keep it at ISO 100. This is how we change the buttons. I hope I could answer it well, Liji. Canon. Okay. Indu sir, could you please explain about micro photography? All this is micro photography only, or macro photography. Everything in dentistry is macro photography. What exactly? Vipin sir, how can we avoid darkness in buccal corridor? You can avoid darkness in first of all, what I would say, just try to be close to the patient. Like if you are taking maximum intercuspation shot, you have to keep a magnification ratio of 1:3 on the lens. I had already shown you how to do that. See, so if I'm taking the MIP shot, and if you want buccal corridor to have light, you have to set the magnification ratio at 1:3 first. Okay, and how we do dental photography is, so this is the patient, and I'll obviously not be sharp, so I'll go forward or behind. At one point of sharp time when the premolar is sharp, I'll take the shot. If your buccal corridor is coming out to be really dark, then I would request you to increase your flash power or reduce your F number. But that is provided you are using the right lens and the right magnification ratio and the right flash. So a lot of it depends upon what equipment you are using. Since I don't know what equipment you are using, it's a little difficult to answer. What twin flash you are working with? I'm working with Canon MT24EX. Ligi, and settings for studio light for intramural and intramural pictures. Gaurav, does 1500D support Yongnuo flash as 1300D is no longer available? Gaurav, I have shared a video on this group called as World Dental Association, in which one of my students has put a video of using Canon ring flash on Canon 1500D. Sorry, Yongnuo ring flash on 1500D. So maybe you should check out that video. What is my suggestion is, some 1500Ds are accepting Yongnuo ring flash. So what you can do is go to a shop, see, put the ring flash and use it and see if it's working. That's good. If it's not working, try to use some other ring flash. But my students, Dr. Chandragupt, he is using Yongnuo ring flash on 1500D. Indu Mohan, you mean, oh, you are an oral pathologist. What are the things be careful while taking photos through a microscope? Indu Mohan, what I suggest is, if you put the camera on the microscope, you lose your f control. So what you can do is you can use lights lights. You can use continuous light sources also, because f will become 0, 0. All you have to do is keep the shutter speed really fast. So keep a shutter speed of 1/1000th of a second, ISO 100, and use continuous light sources which are really powerful to get a good shot through your microscope. That'll really help. Amol, can you please give some maintenance tips for the camera? Amol, you can buy a lot of silica bags and keep it in the drawer where you are keeping your camera and lenses. But right now I want to take only questions which are related to the flash. So let us keep the questions on flash right now. Ligi, intraoral and extraoral settings for studio light. So Ligi, usually I keep my studio light. It depends upon what studio light you are using. If you are using FRX 200, then I keep it at a power of 5.0. That's maximum power. However, if you use FRX 400, 5.0 is the minimum power. So keep a power of around 5.0. If you are doing intraoral, then f at 32. Shutter and ISO remain the same. For extraoral, you can keep f of 16 for extraoral photography. What is ISO setting? We'll discuss all that in our forthcoming sessions, guys. Right now I'll be taking questions on flash only. So Amandeep is asking, sir, there are two types of triggers for Nikon by Yongnuo. One is similar as you are using, other one is somewhat bigger and screen just like the flash. Which one should I go for? Amandeep, I'd request you to contact me personally. I cannot comment because I have not seen them. But very honestly, if even while you buy a trigger, you have to be careful if it's for Canon or Nikon. If both of them are for Nikon, you might as well buy both of them. Maybe you're talking about one is a controller. So there's a difference between a trigger and a controller. A trigger can only send a radio trigger. It cannot control your flash power. Whereas on the other hand, a controller can not only throw a radio signal, it can also control the flash power. So I would suggest that you go for the bigger one which has the screen, because most probably that is a controller and not a trigger. Amandeep, I hope that helps. Then Tanveer Singh Teja, hi. For the ring flash, how to calculate the lens size for the adapter? I have already finished explaining about the lens diameter in the previous session. Maybe you can have a look at it. Ankit Khasgiwala, many times I get darkness in posterior areas with my twin flash. So Ankit, my basic suggestion is you can keep twin flash only for anterior aesthetic cases, like only anterior close-ups. If you want to take your full arch or maximum intercuspation, you will get that best with a ring flash. Most probably you are getting your buccal corridor dark because the angle of your twin flash is wrong. You should set it correctly so the light falls on the buccal corridor, and keep the flash power adequate so that it's a good one and you get light in the buccal corridor. Can you please give some maintenance? Which camera body is your preferred for dental photography? Already discussed that in the first live session. Ankit, what our flashlight system should we have with us to do justice with different situations in dental photography? I think I've already explained that in this session also, and even in the first session there is a session in live number 1 which is still there on my Facebook page, in which I have clearly discussed this fundamental situation. Maybe you can have a look at that. Mayur, chair light to get kept on or off while intraoral photography. It does not matter at all. I prefer to keep it on while taking pictures, except when you are doing your anterior aesthetic close-up shots. Means at a magnification ratio of 1:1 or 1:1.5, you should keep the chair light off. I still don't put it off. I put the chair light on the neck so that it helps me view better. Liji, thank you so much again. Wonderful session. When is the next session? The next session will be informed on Facebook. So keep in tune with my Facebook profile, Instagram profiles, and WhatsApp statuses, so that you can be updated about the forthcoming session. For people who don't have my number, it is 8655225522. On Instagram, my profile is called Canon Photo Mentor, or there's one more called Mayur_EOS Maestro, and on Facebook you can add me on Mayur Davda 3. Madhura Rao sir, zoom feature of flash used while taking dental photos. Madhura, it's not so helpful for us. Dhanush Kumar sir, which flash would you recommend for beginners, ring or twin? Ring flash. Obviously ring flash would be better for beginners. Mobib Sami, I know some dentists just use iPhone 8, not even 11. The photos are extremely wonderful. How? I don't agree with you at all, because you cannot compare mobile phones with dental photography. Seema ma'am, wonderful session. Dr. Mayu, thank you for the information. It was my pleasure, Seema ma'am. Where do you get Mickey Twin Flash? Liji, it is available online. If you don't find it, we can also send it to you. Khyati, any creative use of chair light during dental photography? Not much. Ramesh, I have only ring flash. Should I invest on other two? Ramesh, you can, if you are a lot into anterior aesthetics, and if you want to publish them, you can go for a twin flash. Otherwise, if you want to be famous, you can go for studio lights. Both are good. How to adjust the ring flash to act as a twin flash? You cannot make the ring flash work as a twin flash unless you break them. Gaurav, 850D versus 90D. See whichever is lighter, buy that one. That will be my suggestion. Gandhi Mati, next session you will be informed. I think you should keep a track on my Facebook. Vipin, nice session. Thank you so much. Ashiya Shah, which flash to buy for all purpose out of all? I think I would buy a ring flash because it's easy to use, less cumbersome, and you can do creative quite a bit, and it's very good for documenting posteriors, which is a major part of my work. Which is better for an orthodontist? Ring flash. Muhammad Isam Arif. Ring flash is really good for an orthodontist or an oral surgeon also. Ankit, wonderful show. Thank you so much. Pramod, great session. Thank you. Reshma Award, thank you so much. Riddhi, thank you so much. And thank you so much all of you. It was a pleasure for me to give a good session on flash for all of you all. For the forthcoming session, stay tuned with me, and you can connect with me on my WhatsApp on 8655225522. You can keep a track of my Facebook, Instagram, and that's all for today. If you found this video helpful, please share this after I save it. Thank you so much, Muhammad Al-Shiri. Ameya, thank you so much. Bhavati, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. I'll be looking forward to see you all in my